大家好，欢迎收看本次萌专访。这次我们有幸请到了这届中期选举马里兰州总检察长候选人共和党人 Craig 来到我们的现场。由于他说英语，以下我们将用英语向他提问。同时，有观众朋友们如果有问题向 Craig 提问，可以打240-423-0406-240-423-0406. 好的let's put some question to Mr. Craig. First of all, my pleasure. Welcome to
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
And the first question and many Asian America that concern is what's your most advantage compared to the current Attorney General and your competitors?
Yeah. So I'm running against the current Attorney General, and he is a career politician, which means he's been in political office for 32 years. I have not. I've been a state prosecutor. I've been a federal prosecutor. I've worked on the United States Senate Judiciary Committee. I've worked as a business representative, as a counsel, and also as president and CEO of a trade association. And I'm a soldier and veteran. So I have a very broad background. My opponent, he's a politician. He's never prosecuted a case. He doesn't understand how law enforcement works. And basically, he's focused on what's going on in Washington instead of focusing on the problems we have in Maryland. And we have big problems in Maryland. So I'm running because I want to prioritize the problems in Maryland, not the politics in Washington, D.C.
Okay, so in your opinion, what's the most problem related to the crime rate in Maryland now?
So Baltimore, which is the city in Baltimore, is the murder capital of the country. It has a per capita murder rate that is its highest in its history. 342 people were murdered in Baltimore last year alone. We're on pace for about that this year as well. We had over 2,000 opioid deaths from overdoses last year. That's going to go up this year, and it's gone up significantly over the past 3 or 4 years. We're fourth in the country in trafficking of women and children for prostitution and other purposes. We have gang gun violence in Baltimore. We have MS-13 problems in Montgomery County and in central and southern, western, and eastern Maryland. So we have all of these criminal problems, and the current Attorney General is again focused on politics, not on fixing those problems.
So what's the major factors that are related to this high crime rate? Like what's the first, the education, the too many poor population, or the bad population structure, or someone says that the freedom of Maryland to receive many refugees from other countries?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. Certainly in Baltimore City particularly, it's a cycle of poverty. Many of the children are being raised by single mothers, and the fathers are either not there or doing something else. That's a big problem. It is poverty, the jobs, the lack of education. The educational system is deficient in Baltimore City. I've met children who were 12 years old and were having trouble reading. So there's a combination of factors, but it's not hopeless. It can be fixed. It just takes time and the right energy and the right person to help out.
And what's the plan of if you succeed to get the position? What are you prepared to do to fix that?
Well, one of the jobs of the Attorney General is to go after gang crimes, to prosecute those crimes. And I have the background to do that. But that's where a lot of the problems are coming from, the gangs and the opioid gang, the trade in the opioids, the gun crimes. That's coming from gangs. And it's not just Baltimore, it's MS-13 and other illegal immigrant gangs from central Maryland that are having problems. And they're causing havoc in the communities they're in, and they prey upon the most poor and the most vulnerable. So that's the number one issue. Work with the police, the law enforcement, to bring tough cases against them and get them out. But the other side.
How do you handle this tough case?
So you have to put the resources towards those tough cases, right? So if he's spending all his time, my opponent, spending all his resources on Washington and filing lawsuits against the federal government, I take that money back and use it to hire prosecutors, to hire investigators, to go after these, to work with the other law enforcement agencies in a coordinated effort, and the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is the federal agency, to go after them. So it's a combination of factors, but you want to be the coordinating source. You want to be the center of all that.
Okay. And I heard that you used to be a military attorney. Is that helpful to fix this problem?
Look, I've been many different types of attorney. I'm actually still in the Army, Army Reserve. I'm a judge advocate general, which is a lawyer for the Army. And I think any type of experience that broadens your background. So I've been a prosecutor on the civilian side. I've been a prosecutor on the Army side. I've been a defense attorney on the Army side as well. I've dealt with international issues as well. So everything you do in law that gives you a broader background helps, because the Attorney General's office has a very broad mandate. It's not just crime. It's environmental issues. It's consumer protection issues. We're talking your advisor to the governor, to the legislature, to the courts as well. You're dealing with securities and business issues, regulation, health issues, you name it, you're doing it. So having a broad background helps.
Okay. And do you think someone said top communities real estate price is going down because of the receive of the other refugees and foreigners? What do you think?
Well, certainly that's the case. You look, crime drives down the value of real estate. It drives down the attractiveness of a given community. Baltimore City, its population is down hundreds of thousands of people. They've fled. They've left because of a high tax base. Businesses are fleeing the city, and so the people that are left are trying to survive, but every other house is boarded up. It's a real mess there. So it's a complicated problem, but yes, if you have crime in a city or a jurisdiction, it's going to be unlivable for various reasons, because businesses aren't going to come in, and the price of your value of your property is going to be down to nothing at some point. You can't even sell your property. Part of the problem, the people that stayed in Baltimore, they can't sell their properties. Nobody wants them. So they're stuck there. They can't even get out if they wanted to. So they're stuck there. But a lot of the people in Baltimore and other places, look, they want to make it better. They're trying. They just need help.
Okay. And since Maryland, is a deep blue state. And what's your confidence come from as you are a Republican? Well, there hasn't been a Republican elected Attorney General in 100 years in Maryland. And we've only had one governor, in fact, ever get elected twice in the 242-year history of Maryland. So it is a blue state. But I think there's a tipping point, Eric. I think what happens is at some point people say enough is enough. 4 years ago, Governor Hogan said, I'm running for governor, and he was able to win because enough was enough. With the crime problems now, I think people are saying the same thing. Enough is enough. We're willing to try a Republican Attorney General to run the things, because the guy that's in there now has failed. And the polling reflects that he's very weak, and his polling is down from when he won 56% last time. He's polling about 42 now. So he's dropped percentages over and over again. So he's in trouble. Do we have somebody questioning? Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think of the Asian America? What are they concerned, and why some of the Chinese America support the Republican?
I think the idea is it's a law and order issue. The people that come here from whether they're South Asia, from China, from wherever they're coming, from Japan, they're coming here to bring good jobs, to work in good things, to get education. They're focused on that for their children, for their family people. They're concerned about education. They're concerned about the future for their kids. And when they come into this area and they find that there are other people who are not so concerned about it, it gives them pause. I think what they say is, look, we're willing to take help from any side, whatever party it is, if they're willing to help solve the problems we have. Because you don't come here to face crime. You don't come here to face, dropping real estate or to have job issues. You come here to raise a family, to put them in good schools, to have a good life. And so I think people say, in various communities, not just the Asian community, but it's just like, what, we just want peace in our communities. We just want the ability to go about our lives, to raise our families in a safe environment, to find good jobs, to have good schools we can send our kids. That's what everybody wants. So in some ways it's no different than anybody else, but except the people that have moved here from Asia have come a long way, and they did it the legal way. They came here legally, and they expect others to follow the laws too.
Okay, and some our audience want to ask you, how to handle in Maryland, the police only protects the vulnerable group, but to harm to the middle class.
Well, the police?
or the government? Yeah.
The government should look out for everybody. It should be balanced, right? The idea is, you know, and one of the things the Attorney General does is antitrust, right? What that means is you try to create a level playing field for everybody, so that nobody can have a bigger advantage because of their money or their background or their wealth, right? So one of the things you have to do as Attorney General is say, if a big business from out of state is attempting to destroy all the local businesses, then you have to stop that. So that's part of the antitrust laws. But the idea is you want to keep a level playing field for everybody, so everybody has a fair chance. Competition has to be fair, and that way people can succeed. Yeah.
So how do you think in public school the boy and the girl use same toilet like this?
No, no. I think the toilet should be separated by gender, and just two different toilets, one for male, one for female. I know that's a big discussion point, but and it's not something that I'm going to get into particularly. But for me, it's pretty simple. You know, boys should go in the boys' room, girls should go in the girls' room.
Okay.
Just simple.
Very traditional.
Yeah, very traditional. You know.
So. Do you think the major of the Chinese American or Asian American should support you?
I do. I do. I think if people want a society that's safer, if they want a society where they can raise their children in safety, if they want a society where opportunity will be available to them, and more opportunity even more, because as you clean up certain areas, it creates greater opportunities, right? If you want that, then you should support me. If you want politics, if you want just political, far left politics, then go with my opponent. But for me, it's simple. We had a debate last Friday, and we started talking about some lawsuit that he filed involving who's staying at a hotel in Washington. Okay, and we started talking about Saudi Arabia, and I said to everybody, I said, look, I can't believe we're sitting here in a race for Attorney General in Maryland talking about Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay.
We should be talking about the kids that are being killed every day in Baltimore, or the thousands of people that are dying from opioid overdoses, not about what's going on in Washington or Saudi Arabia for that matter. Right.
Yeah. So.
Where are these questions coming from? I'm just curious.
Yeah, coming from the YouTube channel.
But where they're coming from geographically? Are they coming from here in America? Are they coming from other countries?
Most of them come from Maryland.
Okay, very good. Good.
They concerns in Maryland, like if the landlord want to take back the house, it's very difficult and lost and.
That's a difficult thing, and again, sometimes I think the laws tend to favor those who violate the law versus those who abide by the law.
Yes.
And for me, it doesn't make any sense. You should always be supporting the people who are abiding by the law, who are following the law. The people that want to get out of their leases, they need to follow the law too. And if they don't pay their bills, they need to be gone.
Oh, okay. And the Montgomery County will cancel the school zone. What do you think?
They cancel the
school zone, like in an area that boys and girls go to some
schools, right? So they have to go to different schools, you mean, or?
Yeah, different zone, different score. That's called the.
I'm not sure of the question. Are you saying they can't go to the school they want to go to?
Yeah, just like that. Every zone.
Yeah, there's different schools in different zones.
Yeah.
So what's the question then?
So the Montgomery County is canceling that.
Canceling it.
Yeah.
So what's the new policy going to be?
Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
The last question is: we rejected the refugee going to the Maryland. Is this good or bad?
You mean which refugees we're talking about?
Like a refugee from Middle East.
Oh, Syria, places like that.
Syria.
Look, I think you have to be careful about anybody. The idea is, look, we want to bring people into this country who are going to be law-abiding, who are going to work to improve our society, and want to be Americans, whether they're Asian Americans or African Americans or whatever it might be, but that want to improve society. We don't want people coming here we can't investigate because they may have a terrorist past. That's one of the issues with the Syrian refugees, for instance. We don't want people here who have no job skills. We want people who actually can contribute to our society and build it up. Right? I mean, look, it's a competitive world. I mean, we're in competition with India, we're in competition with Europe, with the EU, we're in competition with China, we're in competition with Japan, and Korea. So we're in competition all over the place. We want the best people to come to America, and it doesn't matter where they come from, but we want the best people. We have to be able to know what they've done in the past in order to figure that out.
Okay, I think the Mr. Craig Wolf has answered most of the questions of the audience put up. So thank you for accepting my interview.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Come here.
No, it's all good. I'm glad to do it.
好的，观众朋友们这次接受这个本次竞选州检察长的这个 Craig Wolf 先生他回答了我们一些问题之后，我们会把这些中文字幕上传。如果大家还有什么后续的问题，可以随时留言。好，感谢收看本期萌专访，也感谢 Craig Wolf 先生接受我的采访，跟大家打个招呼。
拜拜，
好，拜拜。